Here they come, taking their first steps outside for their historic flight test to the International Space Station.
Sonny's taking a quick look at last look at planet Earth for a while.
Sonny and I are honored to share this dream of space flight with each and every one of you.
Status check. Go Atlas. Go Centaur. Go Starliner. Godspeed, Butch and Sonny.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes, drawing a line to the stars for all of us.
June 5 comes around. They finally get the launch of the first test flight of human carrying capacity of the Boeing Starliner. And really the whole flight is a certification process. Is this ready to enter service for ferrying astronauts to the space station? Starliner was already about 7 years behind. It should have been, and hopefully, a cruisy flight into space.
Boeing's done a magnificent job, and thus far, like I said, things have just gone, I don't know, I mean, swimmingly.
Unfortunately, it hasn't quite unfolded like that.
Issues emerged one day after departure, when Boeing's Starliner started docking at the International Space Station.
The crew will have the opportunity to conduct their manual piloting demo.
5 of its 28 thrusters failed.
The thrusters are there to help you guide and slow down to your target, the target being docking with the space station. And in particular, they need those thrusters to work to come back home.
We have confirmation of contact and capture of NASA's Boeing crew flight test.
Eventually, Starliner was able to dock to the ISS, but the malfunctions left questions over the mission and the safe return of its crew. Sunita Williams, a veteran astronaut, former space station commander and US Navy captain, and Commander Barry Butch Wilmore, another experienced astronaut and Navy aviator.
I'm not sure we could have gotten a better welcome. I mean, we had music. It was great.
We're just happy as can be to be up in space, one in Starliner, on an Atlas V, and then here on the International Space Station. It just doesn't get much better.
But at the time, they didn't know it'd take NASA months to figure out how to bring them home.
Good afternoon, and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center.
At the weekend, the agency announced its updated mission to the world.
Butch and Sonny will return with Crew 9 next February. Starliner will return uncrewed.
With so much uncertainty around Starliner's performance, the crew will be retrieved by Boeing's rival, SpaceX, making the crew's stay on the ISS around 8 months longer than the planned 8 days.
We've had a lot of tense discussions, and so people have emotional investment in either option.
So here we are in the front of the International Space Station where our spacecraft docked. Just to reorient.
During broadcasts and interviews, Butch and Sonny haven't once complained about NASA's choices.
Eventually, obviously, it's time to come home. We all know that. But yeah, a little more time would be great.
We've got a great team here. You know, we don't really want to leave because we like these guys.
We launch when it's ready. We'll bring you home when it's ready. Thank you, guys.
From here on Earth, for regular people like you and me, the idea of having to suddenly spend an extra 8 months, some 430 kilometres up there, is pretty overwhelming. But when you speak to those who've actually been there, they share a totally different point of view.
Ground control to Major Tom.
It is a fantastic human experience. Going around the world 16 times a day, seeing our entire planet without a filter.
Ground control to Major
Colonel Chris Hadfield reached stardom commanding the ISS in 2013. The retired astronaut, now author, told me it's a risky business.
The job of professional astronauts is to recognize this might kill me. We work with a team of professionals who are trying to understand every single thing about the risk before we commit to actually going and taking that risk. But I think spaceflight is worth it, and that's why I risked my life 3 times. And Sonny and Butch up on the space station, they feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, being in space so long, we're all wondering, what are they going to do about the essentials, those things like food and water, oxygen, somewhere to sleep even?
The International Space Station has 6 beds and 2 bathrooms. But because there's no gravity, you don't need a bed. We recycle almost 100% of the water. We have great stores and stocks of food up there, like a year's worth of food. And we've had 2 resupply ships get to the space station within the last few weeks. But they also have the right psychology and physiology so that they're going to be able to serve an entire career as an astronaut.
This is our 2022 class of ESA astronauts.
Someone who fits that profile is McGann Christian, a future astronaut who grew up in Australia.
Things can go wrong. Things certainly will change in terms of plan. The astronauts that are selected are people who understand that.
This latest space conundrum hasn't spoiled her plans to someday escape Earth's orbit.
I would love to go to the International Space Station because I've learned so much about the research that is happening there. And also just love to be able to look back on Earth from space.
But options for getting there are limited. After the space shuttle was decommissioned in 2011, American astronauts were mostly ferried to the ISS by Russia, which is why in 2014, NASA gave billions to Boeing and SpaceX to develop spacecraft. While SpaceX started passenger flights in 2020, Boeing's stuck in the testing phase, now putting its reputation and relationship with NASA under fire.
They've gotten their money back on SpaceX. They have not gotten their money back on Boeing.
Why does NASA continue to fund Boeing? Boeing has been a great partner for NASA over the years.
It looks probably a little cramped, and it's actually fairly roomy.
Human life is paramount and the preservation of life is paramount, so doing everything and anything possible to keep that safe and true is going to be at the top of NASA's list.
Thank you for being with us, and Butch and I are, again, so honored to be part of this crew.